What's up, everybody, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Devin Klein Show. I am your host, Devin Klein. Every single Thursday at noon, we are right here out of Burn Studios introducing you to one of the most interesting people in health and business. Today, I got my homeboy with me, Jeff Dudan. What's going on, Jeff?
How you doing, Devin?
How are you, brother?
Doing good.
So Jeff, you are the owner of AdvantaClean. You have a family. You have a couple other brands. Tell us, let us into your life a little bit. Let us know about what you do for a living and who you are as a person.
All right. So again, my name is Jeff Dudan, and I am from Chicago, Illinois. Live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm in the franchise industry. So we franchise an environmental service concept. We do mold, water, stuff like that, all about indoor air quality. So really things that affect people's health is where we're focused on and making a positive impact in that. And I got 3 kids, lovely wife, and doing the sports thing and just living a good life.
You're an athlete too. Tell us about your athletic days, the glory days.
The glory days, right? Well, we all know that one day it ends for all of us.
That's right.
Right? We all have our last day. Big basketball player growing up, city of Chicago, and then got into football, ended up playing out at Appalachian State in North Carolina. So yeah, offensive guy.
Yeah. And what's really cool is you actually were the first person who ever looked at Burn Boot Camp and you were like, that thing has something. I think your exact words were, quote unquote, dude, this model is sexy, you should franchise this.
Absolutely. Well, so here's what makes a great franchise concept. It's the story and it's the people, right?
Yeah.
Big companies, they don't start franchise brands. It's people that start franchise brands because that first set of owners is like a family, right? And I met you and Morgan, and immediately, and the very first time I heard your story, I said, you guys have something going on here. So I'm excited to see all your success. It's great.
Yeah, and AdvantaClean headquarters, actually, it's funny. We were just talking about this before we got on. You used to sit literally in the spot that you're sitting in right now.
We're in my office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the corner office and we're sitting in it right now. It looks a little different.
It looks a little bit different. You got the Charlotte skyline and the brick and everything. I'm not sure if those were your views back in the day. Gilead Road out here was probably what you were looking at most of the day, right?
I took a few siestas in here.
Yeah, a few siestas.
Yeah.
That's funny. So I'm really interested to talk with you today. Obviously, I know you very well. We work out together a couple mornings per week. You've been my mentor in franchising. Thank you, by the way. And we, I'm really interested to get to know, how does your background in athletics, how does, that affect you not only as a parent, but as a business owner as well. So if you can kind of dig into those things for a minute.
So I think, athletes, first of all, one of the things we learn over and over again is how to finish. So when the going gets tough and you've got to push something through, we're not someone that's looking to lay down and not finish all the way through. So the ability to finish and grind it out and give that extra effort. But what really made a difference for me in business was the coaching aspect of it. So I got into coaching with my kids, and at first it's like, okay, well, we're growing a business. Why should you take time to do this youth coaching? And there's some book, I don't remember the title of it. It's like everything you need to learn about life you learned in 5th grade. Well, everything you need to learn about leadership, you can practice coaching a group of kids. And so that was powerful for me. And the more that I coached, the more I realized how important it was to make things simple, to communicate well, to set clear expectations, to bring passion and energy to things, right? To understand that there is an end game, right? And it's about finishing on the scoreboard, but it's also about achieving the state where people are willing to go fast. You're going to break a few eggs, you're going to spill some milk, but you're not afraid of the consequences when you're trying to really, finish a quarter or finish a game and stuff like that. And when you bring that stuff into the business environment, and I like to talk about business athletes, right? And you can tell a lot about any team, a business team, a group, a department, or a 10-year-old football team on how they celebrate, right? So how do teams celebrate, and how do you celebrate at work? So really, when I looked at the time that I was investing in the youth coaching and my background in athletics and translating that into business, I found it to be invaluable.
So when you're celebrating, right? Like some of us have such audacious goals and we have such high expectations for ourselves, whether it be business or fitness or sports or whatever, whatever you care about, whatever you're passionate about. You have this mentality that, there's this end goal that I'm going to reach. And so many of us focus so much mental time on that end goal that we forget to celebrate the little things along the way, because I think Matthew McConaughey said, like, when I started enjoying the process of actually filming the movie, being on set, sleeping in a trailer when it's 95 degrees outside, and going through those things, that became the enjoyment piece, and that became the fulfillment out of it, rather than just this goal attainment, and being unhappy along the way. So talk a little bit about along those lines, how do you celebrate those small victories? And in your business and in your family, how do you make sure that, whatever goals you have, they stay in your mind, they stay top of mind, and you're aware of them and you're conscious that they're there, but then you're also conscious of fulfillment and happiness along the way.
Right, so a balance, right, between a high goal orientation and being able to stop and celebrate the experiences along the way. So you've got to celebrate your experiences, right? And you got to say, look, I'm in a trailer, or I'm doing this, or I'm having to work late, but I have the opportunity to work late. I have the opportunity to be on set or wherever, people
it's like
are
spinning
doing
everything on its head, right?
Yeah, right. Everything's how you look at it. But then you have to stop and you have to celebrate the successes along the way. But maybe it's not just for you, it's for the people that are around you, because when you lead a business or you lead a team, people are only going to be a subset of the energy that you bring, right? So,
ooh, that was good.
Yeah.
Say that again.
People are only going to be a subset of the energy that you bring.
I like that.
Tweet
that. We got to tweet that.
We'll tweet that out.
We got to tweet that out.
Yeah. So you will never attract great energetic people that are, if you don't lead the way with that. So, taking time to celebrate, taking time to reward and recognize, or just taking time to bop down the hallway, talk loud, ring a bell, whatever it is, when something good happens, man, it's catchy, right? But sometimes in the business environment, like it gets so managed, right? And it just gets so, and everybody kind of gets down to this, we have the right to be mediocre. I love to say it. You have the right to be mediocre, right? Just not in one of my organizations. You can do that anywhere you want to do except for here, right? So, you're always trying to level up, right? And I love that concept of leveling up, and the kids, playing the video games now. I mean, they're always trying to level up to that next level, and I see that, and I'm like, what? That's what it's really like. So if there's five people, right, and they say, well, you only need to outrun the bear, you only need to outrun the slowest one, right? But to level up, you got to outrun everybody, right? And your team. So if it's in your industry or your competitors or whoever it is, like, you've got to outrun your group to get up into that next level. And great business owners and leaders, they're constantly striving for that, but you don't want to go alone, right? You got to bring everybody with you.
Yeah, no, that's great, because it's a team effort. There's no such thing as like one person, doing everything.
There is no I in team, but there is one in fired.
There is one. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's another tweetable moment right there.
Well, there you go.
I think there's roughly 22 million companies, roughly, that 28 million companies, and 22 million of those companies have a single person in them, right? They're one person manning the ship. The remainder are the successful companies. You can't build a successful company if you're just running it by yourself. So many of us try to go out there because we're fearful of, hiring up, or, the overhead that comes with having a building. And we think we need to do everything ourselves to keep our expenses down. But what I found is that when you start bringing on people aren't a sunk cost. People are investments, and good people are investments. And being able to empower those good people, to lead the way for you, right? You're the leader of your organization, right?
Right.
But talk to me about how you empower the people around you to feel like they are the leader of the organization, and why that's important.
Okay, so you have to embrace diversity, and we need diversity in all things but one thing. You need diversity in thought. You need diversity in skills, right? Because there's different jobs that require different people that are suited for that, and every company needs those things. You need diversity in race and beliefs, and you need diversity in all these things. The only thing you don't need diversity in is your values, right? So when you build a team, the first team people build, they tend to make it look all like themselves, right? This guy's like me. So you end up with 5 Devons, right?
Yeah.
And there's nobody to do this job because nobody wants to do it.
Right.
So, so great team builders understand, that you're looking for diversity in these things, and you understand how to weave these things together, on a team, and that's critical.
Yeah, and you're either a few things. An entrepreneur,
right?
Somebody who's willing to take the massive risks, right? They don't care, not really always super passionate about what they're doing as long as they're making money. Then you have these managers who love seeing people light up and love leading the way for people. And then you have artists, people
Yeah.
who are like, they just love the craft.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you could be all three of those things, but there's always one of them that you are more likely, that you're better at.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I found, and I know that we've talked about this before too, is like, what you're saying is you have to be able to understand and identify who you are first. Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a manager? Are you an artist? And then surround yourself with other people. So I'm an artist. I have to surround myself with managers and entrepreneurs.
Right.
I'm entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
But not necessarily an entrepreneur. I'm more of an artist. I love the craft of personal training and building business. So who are you?
Well, so I believe that I exist to connect dots for people. So what really lights me up is going out and learning something and getting just all the way into it, building a business, right? I'm a business builder. I like to build business. I like to make it successful. And then I get enjoyment from showing other people how to have the same success in the businesses that I have. So, I'm a coach by heart, man. I can't get away from that coach thing. That's where I always get back to. Sometimes on our team too, we need individual contributors, right? So there's some people that are great working in teams. There's other people, might be the IT guy, right? He's an incredible individual contributor, or a controller or somebody like that. So it takes all these different types of people. But, I've watched you over the last, 5 years, maybe 6 years.
5 years.
Just absolutely level up. You came from a parking lot. You came into this building, you rented a space. Now you're probably the fastest growing fitness brand in the world. How have you leveled up over and over again?
How have I leveled up over and over again? I think we talk about this a lot, you and I, when when we work out together, we're crushing the weights. We're also kind of shooting it with business too, makes the time go by a little bit faster.
You're crushing the weights, I'm changing them.
Yeah. No, hey, how much weight have you lost, by the way?
Right at, yesterday 30 pounds, today, 26, 27.
After dinner last night?
That's right.
Well, congratulations, by the way. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But
all right.
Leveling up, to me, it's you get what you tolerate. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you have this insatiable hunger to reach a certain goal, you got to be able to have the self-awareness to work backwards and figure out what you need to do today to make sure that you're going to reach the 15,000 unit worldwide, globally dominant fitness empire in 15 years. You
Right.
have to be able to have that vision, spend 5% of your mental energy on that, but spend 95% of it on what do we need to do today? Who do I need? What systems do I need? What efficiencies can I create? And it's waking up every single day for me, coming from a background where I was physically and mentally abused, and my parents were drug and alcohol abusers. For me, it's always been my own psychology and having to that level up. So for me, it's been conditioned. I've been conditioned to level up my whole life. So now it's like, okay, there's nothing that I can't do. So let's figure out what I want to do first and foremost, why I want to do it, and then we can figure out how. So many people start at the how. So many people start at the strategies.
Yeah.
Right? What gym shoes am I going to wear? What gym am I going to join? What diet plan am I going to get on? When really what you need to realize is, why do I want to start implementing all of these strategies? And then once you have what I call like the North Star, your what and your why, once you have that, there's nothing, like you're an unstoppable force. There's nothing that can beat you down. There's nothing that can stop you from reaching your goals. So I think leveling up is purely a mindset. It's 90% psychology, 10% what you go out and do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love your sense of urgency. I believe that a sense of urgency has no boundaries, right? So I like to say, first things first, second things never. By the time you figure out step 27, right, you just got to start because change and opportunity favors the movers, right? You just have to get in motion with things, and you just got to get moving with things. And right, you can figure it out on the run. As long as you know your North Star, like you said, and you know what your values are, which is going to inform your decisions on like what are the priorities and how do I make these tough decisions. Tough decisions have to be made. And the bigger you get, the harder the decisions are, because it impacts people's lives, and it's important, but you can't get bogged down with that, because you got to make the right decision for the organization. A business is an entity all into itself, and you've got to make somebody has to make the hard decisions, or else the business suffers, and then everybody suffers.
Have you ever read the book Good to Great?
Yes, I have.
You know that they talk about the hedgehog concept.
They do.
In that book. the hedgehog concept is basically, you know, what does a hedgehog do in the wilderness when it gets attacked by something? Every single time, what does it do? It balls up, right?
Right.
Balls up, puts out its spikes, and nothing can break that, you know, esoteric shield of armor that this thing has. And that's why it's a creature that's been around forever. In business, we all have that one thing. We all have that hedgehog concept in Good to Great. If we haven't read that book, like, we need to read that book, right?
Yeah.
Because it's really good. It teaches you how there's a difference between good, great, and outstanding standards for yourself. So what is, I guess, the hedgehog concept philosophically for the businesses that you run? Like where you're getting faced with, this is either going to make me money or this is going to help people. Like, what's that one question that you ask yourself to make that decision?
So if I understand the question, you're saying like what are the core things that we do?
The
right?
one thing. You get one thing. Like, I'll give you an example, and then maybe this will trigger something for you. For me, in Burn Bootcamp, we don't make decisions based on profit, based on revenue, based on bottom line. We make every single decision when it's a tough one and we're split. We make the decision based on the question, will this make our clients healthier and happier?
Right.
If the answer is no, we don't even think twice about it. If the answer is yes, we consider it. So is there anything like that in your business? Or it could be a core concept of things too.
Yeah, I mean, it's number one is always do right by the franchisee, right? So every decision that we make, we have to believe that it's going to help our franchise owners be more successful. Mm-hmm. And then, also in Jim Collins, it's like, what's your X for Y in Good to Great, right? It's like, what's your X for Y? We meet our owners at the booked appointment. We know that there's these certain pillars that we need to do as a franchise organization, but what it all comes down to is, delivering leads to franchise owners so that they can be successful and they can get work, right? Mm-hmm. So meeting them at the booked appointment. So that's marketing, that's call center, these things here. But we know that if we meet at this booked appointment and our franchise owners are out there mixing it up in the marketplace and meeting with customers, that they have the opportunity to be successful. So we really drive towards that. And then at the end of the day, when it comes down to when we look at something new, is this going to help our franchise owner be more successful? Is it going to make their life easier? Is it going to make them more profitable? Mm-hmm. Is it going to make their business, more transferable? Mm-hmm. Is it going to build equity for them? Because at the end of the day, we're all about those franchise owners and our customers, man. Those are the people we serve as brands.
Yeah, and you said it. I mean, as leaders, you have an opportunity every single day to be a servant. Right. And if that's the way that you look at it and that's the way that you view yourself, you're going to, like, the leaders that go in and they're like, they sit at a meeting and they pound their fists on the table and they're like, you're going to do this and you're going to do marketing and we're going to do that and you're going to do this. Okay, ready, break. And they go. Yeah. And everyone in the back of their mind is like, this guy's an asshole. Bullshit. I'm going to do it because this guy's writing my paycheck, but like, I don't believe in it. And if you don't get your team bought into it, then you're never going to be able to create a business that is impactful, at scale. So the servant mentality for me is always been something that I've really concentrated on, especially as you grow so fast. Like, how can, I exist as CEO to serve other people. Do you feel the same way?
Oh, I absolutely do. And there's a cadence to business that you get into, and so if you think about training, right, which I think you're familiar with. So it's not just one cadence, right? Sometimes you're going to do a sprint, and then there's going to be a little bit of a payoff. You might give yourself a few days or a week off after a training event or a competition or a race or a marathon or whatever your deal is, right? And then you might go into a 7-week series, right? So as leaders, we've got to create this cadence to our business. Now, business is full contact. It's not always, unicorns and bubble bath, right? I mean, business is full contact, right?
Everyone's trying to kick your butt all the time.
All the time. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, right, a leader needs to take control of that wheel of the ship and guide it through the storm. Mm-hmm. And then other times, you need to let things play out a little bit, but you have to manage the cadence for your business, because if you just try to push people at 100 miles an hour all the time, nobody trains that way. Yeah. Right? So if we're going to be business, why would you run a business that way if it doesn't work in training, right? Mm-hmm. So you run a campaign or you run a whatever, and man, you run and then you give a little break, you create some variation for some people, then you run another sprint or whatever it is. So cadence is really important as a leader, and it's up to us to set that.
Yeah, in connecting that to the servant mentality, it's like you're doing your team a disservice if you're pushing them 100% all the time. Like part of you serving them is to like give them a little breather, give them some grace after they just you crush a promotion or whatever it is, and then it's celebrate like we talked about earlier. Like we're going out Lumberjacks. You ever heard of the franchise Lumberjacks?
No.
It's an axe throwing business. So you take like we're actually going out there tonight as a team, as an organization, to go out and throw some axes, and like those little things, right?
Yeah.
Those are the little things that you have to do. Bring everybody together at those events, pat them on the back, and make sure that they understand that they are worthy, that they're valuable, that they're actually invaluable, right? And that you couldn't do this without them.
Yeah. So I got something for you.
Sure.
It's so in terms of like focus, right? Focus is sometimes an overused word, but so when things are going really, really well and everything's clicking and morale is good, you can take your focus and you can go farther out. And you can focus people farther out there. Mm-hmm. And then, if there's friction or if we're missing something or if it's, we're having to make some changes, because by the way, change is inevitable. As your organization grows, you should never let a good crisis go to waste. Crises are there for a reason. They're given to us. They're put in our businesses so that we can break our organization apart and put it back in a more fundamentally strong way for our new reality, our new tomorrow, right? But when those times are happening, you got to focus your team closer, right? So you're changing your focus out. You go through this time. We focus on what we're doing. Then you back up and we look and we let it out on the track for a little while. We take it out on the track and we run it around. But it's up to the owner has to get a real sense as you're building a business. You got to get a feel for that.
Yeah, that's credit. That was gold right there. I really enjoy that. I'm going to use that actually, if you don't mind.
That's yours.
All right, cool.
You're recording it.
So, you're an athlete. You have children who have grown up. Your son's a college football player, correct?
Yep, plays at Elon.
Cool.
Elon University.
Right on.
Go Phoenix. He's safety linebacker.
Okay, cool. Taken after Pops, huh?
Yeah.
Football.
Football, yeah.
Right. Because you were one of those big linemen on the end, right?
No, I was a tight end fullback.
A tight end fullback. Okay, cool. You're much bigger than I am. I wish that I had your size. I probably would be in the big leagues right now if I was, what are you, 6'4"?
Nah, I was 6'2" at one time.
I'm 6'2". You're taller than me. You're taller than me for sure.
I wear taller shoes.
So you have taken, your athletic background, you've taken your children's athletic background, you've been their coach growing up, and you've put all of these philosophies, as well as the philosophies from your business and the way that you run AdvantaClean and your other brands, and you've put it into a book. Right. Talk to me about your book.
So the book is called Hey Coach, and it's really targeted for youth coaches. And I'm going to transition it over to the business world with another book here at some point. But really, it was a book to try to take, I came down to the end of my coaching career, or what I thought was the end of it, and then you always get hooked back into the next season, right? But what I thought was going to be the end of the coaching career, and I was like, we tend to have success. And we're not one of these groups to where we go out and we recruit the best kids. I basically take whoever they give me, and we tend to start a little bit slow, and then for whatever reason, we always end up in the championship. And more often than not, and it just kept happening over and over again. And coaches would come to me, they'd say, what offense do you run or what defense do you run? And I would say, it depends on who shows up. It doesn't matter.
It's not about the strategies.
It's not about the strategy. It's about, really, getting these kids into this state, right? And it's whether you call it flow state or whatever it is, it's the state where they're playing happy and they're playing loose and they're unafraid to make mistakes and they care about one another and there's no cliques on the team. And, a lot of coaches would say, hey, parents, you drop your kids off to me, and when they step over the line, they're mine, and you have them after. Well, you know what that leads to? That leads to conversations in the car on the way home that are unhealthy and jealousy and all this other stuff. So I would bring all the parents in, and I would try to find jobs. We would have, 14 kids on a team, and man, we'd have 11 parents coaching with us. And my job was to coach the coaches and to create this environment of complete trust and complete care. And really, that's where we focus now, whatever sport it was. we would make sure that we had excellent people. If I didn't know it, my ego wasn't so big that I would find out one of these kids was a college pitcher, dad's was a college pitcher, or he played football or whatever it was. Or if they didn't have the skills and I did, I would teach them and then give them a little rope. So it was really building this organization. And then the crazy thing would happen, that last third of the season as you head towards the playoffs, all of a sudden, because you had worked the fundamentals and the kids showed up and it was the first team, you would hear parents say, this is the first team that they ever said they couldn't wait to come to practice because it was fun. But it wasn't, again, it was hard work, and it was, we always worked hard, but we had fun doing it. And I really enjoyed that. And so I tried to take those lessons that I learned and put them into a book to at least give people some sort of a view on what our view of youth sports and how to build a team. And and when you talk about it, it sounds really soft, and it sounds really, I'm not about everybody getting a trophy or anything like that at all. But it is about, but it's also not about shaming or beating kids into submission or shaming them into it, man. It's about teaching them how to really be part of something special and to want to be part of it. And then when you do that, you can ask them for the sacrifice. You can't ask, there is no results until you have relationship. And coaches overlook that relationship. Part of the little things we did is, we would always greet, each coach would be responsible for 4 or 5 kids and just, how you doing in school? What's going on? Get to know a little bit about them, not just, come out here and line up here, So you get the relationship, you figure out where it's at, and then when the kids believe they're in the right position, football, there's only one ball, right? There's only one ball. So everybody can't carry it and everybody can't throw it, and everybody can't kick it. But kids have to believe that they're in the right spot because that's where the team needs them to be. And an amazing thing happens. And then what you do is when you get them to that place, you step back. And you let them do it, man. And you let them run the warm-ups, and you let them run the practice, and you let them start to have a say, because autonomy, is part of ownership. So when you can get a group of 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kids to really take ownership of a team, and you would see the other teams warming up, and they'd be all in these straight lines and doing push-ups and jumping jacks and all that stuff. And man, our warm-up would look like a college team. They'd be over here throwing a little bit. We'd be over here, popping pads. They'd be loose. And then, when it was on, and we were, they'd be about a 7 or 8 out of 10. They wouldn't be jumping around all crazy. But dude, when that, they knew, they all came together, and it's a beautiful thing, and I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, the whole time you're talking, to me, in my head, I'm like, Jeff, this is exactly how you run your business.
It is.
It is like such a great parallel. I'm a fitness guy, you've been a coach and a business owner. What you're talking about, really, this book could be for anybody. Because it's not just about being a youth coach. It's about building. It's about leaders creating other leaders and leaders leading the way, which is fantastic. I've read it and I love it. It's great. I got to read it again. It's been I think 2 years since you've given it to me. But I've learned so much from you, and from your book and your philosophies and the way that you run your organization, and and you've just openly allowed me to utilize some of those strategies and place them right into my business, which says a lot about who you are as a person. You don't think anybody's out to steal yours or get take yours. You empower other people, and that's what's so special about you. That's why you're so successful. You're empowering everyone around you to be successful, including myself. So where can we get your book?
You can get it on Amazon. Hey Coach, just type in Hey Coach Jeff Dudan. It's right there on Amazon. It'll be there in a day.
Sweet, yeah, dude. Yeah. So everyone, get out there and order some copies of Jeff's book. Jeff, this conversation was amazing. This is great. Thank you so much for being here. And guys, Jeff, you can follow Jeff. Where can we find you at? On Instagram, Facebook, anywhere?
Facebook, okay. Twitter. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
All the major LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great place. Engage with me anywhere.
Awesome. And Jeff is open to helping you. DM him or personal message him. Just hit him up anywhere. Today, in today's internet, you can find anybody anywhere. So just go out and find your favorite platform and find Jeff. And if you have any business questions, coaching questions, personal questions, you can also leave them right below the comments on this video. because Jeff will be after the fact coming back. Him and I will be coming back to answer any questions that you may have. Our goal is to help y'all, man. It's to collectively help you. Jeff has ran a successful organization and successful family. Burn Boot Camp started, in the parking lot with $600 and is now a $100 million organization. So we've been through some of the things that you struggle with as a business owner, as a parent, as a person, and that's what really the Devin Klein Show is all about. Is I am a health and fitness professional, but fitness is much more than just physical activity. It's mental, it's spiritual, it's emotional fitness, and it's physical as well. And those four elements really allow you to generate maximum happiness and to create a quality of life for yourself that's on your own terms and not anybody else's terms. Redefining what you can do every single day when you wake up. Some of the stuff that Jeff talked about today is part of my philosophy. And so, Jeff, I'd like to thank you again, my friend, for being here.
So proud of you, man.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Hey, every Thursday, y'all, Devin Klein Show at noon. Right here, same time, same place. Also, go over to Instagram. Hit me up every Friday. I do FaceTime Fridays. If you hashtag FaceTime Friday DK, you get the opportunity to sit one-on-one with me on Instagram Live, and we get to go over your personal problems. So many more things coming. Getting ready to start a brand new show called Burn on Demand, where my amazing wife and personal trainer Morgan are going to live stream workouts for you so that no matter where you're at in the world, you can follow along. We can be your trainer with sit downs like this from a psychological and business standpoint, and then also from a physical standpoint as well, trying to check all of the boxes to help you live a greater quality of life. So thank you guys so much for joining. Until next time, keep moving.
Take all we got, we gon' make it. Show the world that I shine in our greatness. Keep it real, never go